welcome to Monday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where today we're going to be trying an amusingly named puzzle by Memrista. This puzzle is called Quasimodo's Ears, and I think that must be a reference perhaps to these sort of slightly cartoonish lug holes in boxes 1 and 9, but I could be wrong. I'm notoriously bad at spotting things like this, but anyway, these could be Quasimodo's ears, and we've got a mixture of equal sum lines and German whispers today, looking at the rules. So I'll read the rules properly in just a moment. A couple of things to mention first. Firstly, I'd like to wish a very, very happy birthday to Scott, and that is from your fiancée, Erica. So I think the two of you enjoy watching the channel, and I hope you have a splendid day today, Scott, with loads of cake, of course. Now, next, I need to say hearty congratulations of a different sort, this time to Kristy Klingert, because Kristy, you have won the Qinlux sudoku hunt competition, which closed a couple of days ago. We have had so many entries to that hunt, I cannot tell you. I'm actually pretty astonished because, well, both Mark and I tested the hunt and we found it really hard. So fantastic that so many of you, and literally it was hundreds of you, correctly solved all of those puzzles. But Kristy, your name was drawn out of the hat, so very well done. There will be a Baba Izuki on its way to you this afternoon. Now, what else? Next, well, actually, speaking of Patreon, this puzzle today is an equal sums lines puzzle, and we've also got, of course, the monthly reward for May competition that is live at the moment. You've got until the 20th of May to send in your answers to that, and that's also an equal sum lines Sudoku hunt. So if you do enjoy today's puzzle, that's available over on Patreon right now. Now, next, a couple of things that we've got in the offing coming up on the channel. Firstly, an incredible solve by Thomas Snyder, no less, the 3-time world Sudoku champion, 1-time world puzzle champion, general all-round genius and good guy. Well, Thomas has solved a puzzle created by Serkan Yürekli, the brilliant constructor from Turkey, and Serkan has made a Tapa Sudoku, which is it's a really difficult puzzle, really interesting puzzle. But Serkan's got a new book basically of or a puzzle pack of Tapa puzzles, which are genuinely approachable. That's come out, I think, already over on gmpuzzles.com. But Thomas has had a go at this Tapa Sudoku, and he's done it as a speed solve. To give you an idea of how hard this puzzle is, it took well, I tried it. It took me about an hour. Mark tried it. I think it took Mark about an hour. Thomas, it took 15 minutes. So our plan is to release that video, and I'm going to talk through the logic that Thomas goes through, because it's fairly impressive stuff. So that's coming up on the channel soon. And then the other thing we've got coming up on the channel is a setting video. You may remember a couple of weeks ago I did an astonishing killer Sudoku called Kashmir by Leroy, and Leroy has been kind enough to create a video explaining how he created that puzzle. So that will also appear on the main channel soon, so look out for that. Now, all that's done, let's get on with Quasimodo's Ears. I don't know how hard this is, by the way. You'll have to judge that from the length of the video. I would suggest, I'm going to guess, do I know much about Memrista's puzzles? I think Memrista is one of those constructors whose puzzles fluctuate quite a lot in difficulty, so I don't even know what to guess here. Equal sums lines aren't normally that bad, so I'm going to guess half an hour. We shall see. The rules are as follows. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Adjacent digits along the green lines must have a difference of at least 5. So these are German whispers lines. So that means if this cell is a 2, this square here has to be at least 5 different from 2. So it could be 7, 8, or 9. And that's how the whispers rules work. And then the blue lines are region sum lines, which means that along each blue line, digits on the line have an equal sum within each box they pass through. And there's an example here. It says, for example, row 5 column 1 plus row 6 column 1. So those two digits have to add up to the same number as these two digits, to make sure that obviously as the line in box 4 here it appears on 2 cells. We have to make sure those 2 cells add up to the same as the lines sort of cells in box 7. So those 2 cells. Do have a go at the puzzle. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. Now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Normally with equal sum lines you want something where the lines are very mismatched, i.e. well, it looks like this is, in fact, Quasimodo's ears might be where we start, because I can immediately see that these 2 digits have to add up to at least 15, and that's because the triangular number for 5 is 15, and that's the minimum I could put onto those cells there. If I put 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, which would be the bare minimum, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 is 15. So these 2 cells must add up to at least 15, which means that they are at least, there must be a 6 or higher in each of these digits, because 5 plus 10 is not possible. And the Quasimodo's ears are strangely symmetrical, and that means that we must have the same thing down there. So we've also got that going on. Now, the other thing we can probably think about is there aren't that many degrees of freedom along the ears, are there? Because the maximum I could make these 2 squares is an 8-9 pair, adding up to 17. So these 5 cells cannot add up to more than 17. So there must be a 1 in them, there must be a 2, and there must actually be a 3, and that is already quite a beautiful bit of logic, because and there must be a 3, because imagine there wasn't a 3 in this 5-cell sequence. If there wasn't a 3, the minimum we could make them add up to would be 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6, and that's 18, and that's too many to make this these 2 cells add up to. You can't put double 9 into two cells in the same box of a sudoku. Now, if there must be 1, 2 and 3 on this equal sum line, what on earth are we going to do with the whisper? And there are 2 things to know about German whispers. The first is, this is sort of a quasi-secret, isn't it? This should really be a new secret on the channel. The first thing about a German whispers line is it can't have a 5 on it. Oh, I seem to have switched to the letter tool, but here we go. You can't put a 5 here, because if you do, what are you going to put into this cell? It's got to be 5 away from 5, so we're either going 0 and below, or we're going 10 or above, and that won't work. And once you realise there's no 5 on a German whispers line, you can split the digits up. So there must either, you can categorise each digit on a German whispers line as either low or high. And if this is a low digit, well, you can see it would have to be a 4 now, but it has to oscillate its polarity. Imagine this was a 9. What's this digit now? Well, the thing to realise is it cannot be a 6, 7 or 8, because all of those are too close to 9 to be 5 away. So you have to duck down below 5. Now, if the line oscillates in terms of its polarity, and 1, 2 and 3 aren't available, this line must have a 4 on it, and therefore it must have a 9 on it as well. So that, yeah, okay, and that's symmetrical. Well, not these lines here, are they actually symmetrical? Not quite in terms of their position, but in terms of the logic, very much so. We've got to have 1, 2, 3 on this line, so this must be a 4, 9 pair. This is now not a 9, so this can't be a 6. Yeah, okay. And of course, if there's no 4 on the line, this line must be 1, 2, 3, 5 and 6, mustn't it? Because that's the minimum we can make this add up to, which is 17, and that's the maximum I can make those 2 add up to. So this is 8, this is 9, we have digits in the grid. And the same is true up here, I suppose. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 5 and 6. This must be a 7, 8 pair, which means this is not 7, 8, which means this is not 7, 8. So we've got a 6, 9 pair here. Whoa, hang on, no, I can't have a... Hang on, what on earth am I doing? This doesn't work at all now. No, this doesn't add up to 15. That's why it adds up to 17. So this has got to be 9, this has got to be 8, and then it does work. Apologies, my mathematics was letting me down. All of that brain training is obviously not working. So there's 8s down here. you can't put 8, 9 on this tetromino here, because this would be 17, and I'd have to make these add up to 17. So if I did make those 8, 9, this would also have to be 8, 9. I'd have a big problem in column 9. I'd have 3 digits that have to be selected from 2 different cells, and that simply won't work. So this square is, oh, this is lovely, right. So this square is an 8 or a 9 to stop this being an 8, 9 pair. And if this is an 8 or a 9, we now know how this whisper works. We've got a high digit here. I think I'm meant to make high digits sunny, aren't I? Orange. So we must oscillate polarity. So this is high. These two are low. They're cold digits. So I make those blue. And, well, actually, that digit can't be 8 or 9 in the middle column, so that's got to be a 6 or a 7. It's high, and it's not 8 or 9. And that means these two cells have to be very low. If this is 6, this has to be double 1. If this is 7, it can be a 1 or a 2, because it's got to be 5 away from 7, and we've obviously got to go downwards because we can't make these 12, even though it looks like we can from the pencil marking. Now, what? 8 is in one of those two cells by sudoku. 9 is in one of these 3 cells by sudoku. These squares have got to be a 7, 8 pair, haven't they, in box 9, so that's not an 8 anymore. In fact, look, why don't we just do some sudoku? 8 and 7 can go in there. 8 moves over here. 9 moves over here. Oh, right. Oh, and this is symmetrical. Right, I see. Sorry. In fact, the grid is very symmetrical now I stare at it. Why didn't I notice that immediately? Well, it's not quite symmetrical, but there is a lot of symmetry about a rotation of 180 degrees, isn't there? These map to each other, these German whispers lines. These sort of eyebrow shapes map to each other. These tetrominos match to each other. And the Quasimodo ears match to each other. What doesn't match is that the position of these German whisper lines, and look, there's a slight asymmetry between the length of the equal sum lines here and here, and that's all that's being used to sort of disambiguate the grid. Anyway, let's come back to this line because we can do the same logic we did up here. This can't be an 8, 9 pair because this would add up to 17, so we'd have to make that add up to 17, and we get far too many. In fact, we'd have all sorts of problems for many reasons. We just simply cannot do that. So this square must be 8 or 9, which tells us we've got hot digits here and here on the German whisper. We've got cold digits here, so this can't be 9 anymore. Cold digits have to be 1s, 2s, 3s, and 4s. Oh, yeah, and it's totally symmetrical. So this square has to be 6 or 7, which means these squares have to either be, well, okay, well, they either have to be 1s and 2s, that's for true, but now one of these actually has to be a 6, which means one of these has to be double 1. So either this is double 1 or this is double 1, which which means that the 7, wherever the 7 goes, has double 2 on it. So one of these is double 1 and one of these is double 2. 1 and 2 in the top row have to be over here. And that logic is the same. Right, so these little sort of tetromino shapes are quite interesting, because this, you can't put 1 and 2 here because they will add up to 3, and you'd need these two squares to add up to 3, and therefore this would also be a 1 or a 2, and we'd have a similar problem that we were investigating with 8s and 9s in column 9 and column 1, we'd have in row 1. So this cell is a 1 or a 2. Now, does that logic? No. Oh, that's interesting. Right, because this one's longer, we don't get that logic down here. So we know there's a 1 and a 2 on this equal sum line. But we don't know more than that. So the other digits we need in row 9 are 1, 2, 3, 5 and 6. We need 3s, 5s and 6s. Oh, so we could even put a 3 on here, and then this would have to be a 5 and this would have to be a 1, which is impossible. Ah, okay. So 3 in the bottom row is in one of those two cells. Just let me explain what I did there. So if this was 1, 2, 3, then in box 7, the equal sum line is adding up to 6, which means these two have to add up to 6. But this digit could only be a 5 then, and that would put a 1 here, which would break. We'd have too many 1s in column 4. So what we need to do instead is to note that 3 can't go over here in row 9. It's in one of those two cells, which actually is probably not very helpful. What were the other digits? 5s and 6s. So if this was 1, 2, 5, this would be 3, 5, because it couldn't be 1, 7 or 2, 6. If this was 1, 2, 6, adding up to, no, 1, 2, 6, this could be 5, 4 or 3, 6, I think. Right, okay, so maybe this line is not where we're meant to look for our next breakthrough. Let me just stare at this for a second or two. What is under pressure in this puzzle now? There's got to be high digits in these dominoes, because I can't put both 8 and 9 in these cells, which might be interesting. I've got to fill the rest of this column with 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, sorry, I'm a bit stuck here. What is it that I'm missing about this? Wow, I don't know. What's 2? No, nearly. Okay, sorry. I thought making this digit a 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 was going to be, it almost is creating a quintuple in the row here and in the row here, but not quite. Oh, okay. That's tricky. Can you put 7 in this domino, I'm wondering? So I'm looking at this row and wondering where 7 goes. So if 7 goes on the domino, it has to go here, which places 8 here and 9 here, and that doesn't work. Right. So you can't put 7 here in row 3, because you have to now put 8 here and you have to put 9 here, and this is 16, which requires 7, 9 into this domino, and that's not going to work. That's tricky. So 7 in row 3, I think, has to go there, which means 7 in box 8 has to go in one of those two cells. Which means, what does that mean? I don't know. Is it the same logic here? Can we put 7 in there or not? Actually, can you put 7 in here? Does that fail? If you put 7 here, you've got to put 9 and 8 here. So this would be 15, and there would be no way of making this domino add to 15. So the 7 couldn't go in this cell. Whoops, hang on, let me just get rid of the 7 there. Now, if you put the 7 here, you can't make 15. You know, it doesn't work. Okay, no, it's the same. Right, it's really interesting. So where does 7 go in this row is the question. If you put 7 here, you have to put 9 here and 8 here. So this 15 is not possible because we've got 8, 7 ruled out and 9, 6 ruled out. If you put 7 here, on the other hand, this is either 8 or 9, but 15 won't work because 7, 8 and 6, 9 are still ruled out. And if that's 9, this has to be 7, 9, and that's ruled out doubly. So 7 in this row has to go here, which means 7 is in one of these 3 cells, in box 7. Wow. Come on, Simon. What does that mean? I don't know. Wow. No, sorry. I've not got anything clever to tell you about that. Maybe this line, because this digit, well, these 2 digits are a maximum. Well, no, hang on, let's think about this. There has to be a low digit on this equal sum line. What low digit is that? It is not 4, 7, 8, or 9. So this is a maximum of 1, 6. So that means this has to add up to no more than 7. No, 2, 6. Sorry, I've just realised that could have been a 2 as well. So this is a maximum of 2, 6. So this is a maximum of 8. Yeah, okay, but 1 and 2 are not possible on this stem, are they? Because of this pair here. This is right. This is where we should be looking. This feels right. So now we know there's a 3 on here, because this is either 3, 4 or 3, 5, depending upon how high this gets. Now, does that mean this has to have 6 on it, or could it have? No, it could have 5 on it. It could be 2, 5. If this is 2, 5, and this is 3, 4, the world makes sense. So all we actually learn is there's a... oh, no, this is good. Okay, there's a 3 in one of these 2 cells, which rules 3 out of this cell, but more interestingly, it rules 3 out of that cell. So 3 in the bottom row goes here, which means it's not there, which means 3 is in the middle of the puzzle by sudoku. So now, what are the options here? We haven't used 5 and 6 in the bottom row. So if this is 1, 2, 5, this is a 5, which looks possible. If this is 1, 2, 6, oh yeah, okay, the way to, yeah, so this digit and this digit are shared. And that's really annoying, because both of those are possible. So this is either 1, 2, 5 or 1, 2, 6. Right, okay, and this is a 5 or a 6, because whatever's not used here in the row must go into this square. So there's now a 5, 6 pair in this box, which means this square is not 5, which means we've got a 1, 2, 4 triple. 4 is looking upwards from box 8 at that cell, which now becomes a 1, 2, or a 5. Yes, okay. So now haven't I got a 1, 2, 5 triple in this? There's something weird going on here. There's something, I feel like this is provable some other way, but if you look at this column now, we've got 3, 6, 7, 8, and 9 used, and a 4 pencil mark. So this square here is a 1, 2, or a 5. And that creates a triple in this box, rules 5 out of this line. So this is now 3, 4, which means we need these 2 to add up to 7. So let's get rid of my silly pencil marks and think about how that's going to work. That is either, we know there's a 1 or a 2 on here, so it's either 6, 1 or 5, 2. And those are the options, aren't they? Which means this square here, no, but that square there has to be a 6 by sudoku. Sorry, yeah, I think I'm getting completely discombobulated by something here. This is weird to me. Something feels wrong almost about what I've done, but I can't see what it is. So that 6 is giving me a 5 here. This feels like it's a 6 now by Sudoku. This adds up to 8, which makes sense. This is now 1, 2, 5, which adds up to 8, so everything is working there. These two squares have got to be a 4, 9 pair. Now 4 would be difficult into this cell, but not impossible, because that could be a 1, 3 pair. That would be 3, this would be 1. Okay, alright, so we've got to live with that and carry on. The 4 here gives me the 4 and the 3, so that's nice. 4 is on this one. Ah, right. Okay, so what does this add up to? So we know there's an 8 or a 9 on it. So, oh, that's lovely. Right, okay, this is not a 4-9 pair. Because if it was a 4-9 pair, it adds up to 13. How are we going to make that domino work? It can't be 5-8, it can't be 6-7, and it can't be 4-9, because again, we run into this same problem where we have 3 digits the same in that column. That's really clever. So this must be 4-8, which makes this a 9, which makes this a 9 and this a 4, which means 9 is over there. Now, we've got 12, yes, we've got 12 here. So this must be a 3-9 pair, because it can't be 4-8 or 5-7, and we naturally know the order. So that's 3, that's 9, this is nothing. This, right, this is lovely. And that's 9, that's 4 by Sudoku. And 3 lives in one of these cells. These squares here are 5 and 8, I want to say. So if that's 5, this has to be a 1-4 pair in exactly this order, because it can't be 2-3. If this is 8... Oh, no, hang on, that doesn't work. Did I just put the 1-4 the wrong way round? Ah! 5 here. Yes, I've just managed to do that the wrong way round. If this is 5, and this is a 1-4 pair, the 4 goes there, and the 1 goes here. And that unfortunately does seem to work. If this is 8, this can't be 3-5, so it's either 2-6 or 1-7. Oh no. No, that's horrifically bad. I'm not even going to pencil mark this. That's got too many options, I think. 3 can come out of this cell. 8 and 4 are resolved by Sudoku. Don't neglect Sudoku, Simon. This is a 1-2-5 pair, so this is 3, 6, 7. And the wind is rattling my window. Never mind. So now I've got a 1-2-5 triple in row 2. I've got... That's not a 3. Oh dear. Okay. I've got 7 here. And I can't put 6 on here. So this has got to be a 2-5 pair, which is nice. So that means this square here is a 1. This square here is not a 1. This square here is a 6. This square here is a 3-7 pair, which is not resolved. These two squares are 2 and 5. And can I get rid of more from here? This feels like it's got too many options. Now, I suppose we have got 5 digits left to place, and 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 are the options. Okay, so that's not good. I've looked at this, haven't I? Right, so let's maybe have a look at this one. What can we see here? We know that... What do we know about this? Do we know anything useful? I got this digit. Didn't seem to do anything. I suppose, no, it gave me, it resolved the 4-9 down there. But it doesn't really help me along the German whisper line, because this digit, whatever it is clearly going to be more than 5 away from 9. Oh, these two cells. Ah, I've not looked at that. Right, so these have to add up to 9. And that, right, and they're not 3, 6. These are either 1, 8, 2, 7, or 4, 5, and that can't be 4, so that's not 5, and that's a horrific number of options again. Right, no, not these two. Let's look at those two. That's lovely. Right, I now know the order of the 6 7s. Because remember what we said, with the 6, because wherever the 6 goes, you've got to have 2 digits flanking it that are 5 away. It has to have double 1 flanking it. And that's, so if we did that, this would be double 1, this would be double 2, and we couldn't put a 2 in column 9 anymore. That's so beautiful. So this is 7, this is 6, this is double 1, this is double 2. That's not 2 anymore, that's not 7. Whoops, not 7. That's not 7 now, so this is not 2. So we've actually got this really quite restricted. It's either 4, 5 or 1, 8 now. And these two cells are a 2, 4 pair. So these two cells are a 1, 5 pair, which means 2 lives over here in box 1, which means there's no, oh, well, we can see there's no 2 over here. And we will, how do we do this? We must be about to finish the puzzle, I feel. That could be famous last words. Actually, we have got quite a bit of it left to do. But it feels like I've used up most of these clues now. I want to know what this is. Do I know what that is somehow? Nine has to go in one of those cells, and it's not in that cell. So I think it must be this somehow that's going to tell us what we need to do next. But right, okay, those two squares are adding up to at least 11 because they can't use a 1 or 2. So if we know there's an 8 or a 9 in this domino, so if this was 8, 3, this would have to add up to 11 is so easy to get to though, even without using a 9. That doesn't actually, oh, you can't, maybe you can't put 3 here. Yeah, I don't think you can. Let me just think about this. If there's a 3 here, how do we make this sort of combination ever work? Because we know that these two cells add up to at least 11. And now these two squares have to actually add up to 11 because the 9 isn't available. So this would be an 8-3 pair adding up to 11. And the way that this adds up to 11, this is the same. It's the same logic. The only way that works is if you do 3-8. And again, we get this same problem now, which has sort of recurred all around the puzzle. And it's recurring here. This is very, very beautiful setting. It's really sort of thematically elegant. So let's get rid of 3-8 here because this isn't, well, I'm not sure that's not 3-8, but I definitely know that this is not a 3. That is impossible. So there's a 3-9 pair in box thingy thing being box 4. So 2, yeah, okay. So the point here is that 1 and 2 cannot go on this domino, can they? Because this adds up to at least 11. And if this was, if there was a 2 on here, you can't put a 9 on it with it. So 2 in this box is there, which means nothing. No, it does. It gets me a 2 there. Okay, so that's a 2. That's a 2. We've got a 1. Sorry, we've got, whoa, something's going wrong. We've got a 1-5 pair now in column 2. So this is not 1 or 5. This is not 1. which means that's not 8. So we're really closing in. I've now got a 1-5 pair in column 3 as well. So now I've got a 3-6 pair in box 1. So I've got 1-5 pairs all over the place. Now, can we somehow resolve all of this? I don't know, actually. Maybe, I don't know. I'm going to have a look at this row on the basis I've well, it's not a brilliant basis. I've actually only got 4 digits in here. But this cell is a bit restricted because it sees 4 and it sees 2. So what can this cell be? It could be 5, I think. Or it could be 7, or it could be 8. So that is 5, 7, or 8. And we know we need to get to at least, oh, this digit here, look, that can't be 1 because that's never going to add up to 11. It can't be 2, 3, or 4. So this is at least a 5, 5, 6, 7, or 8 as well. I don't think that's good enough though. No, sorry, I can't see how to do this. This is most discombobulating. Let me have a think about what else can we look at here. 4, right. 4 in this box is up in a domino. So 4 in, so 4 is, oh, I see, right, okay. This is very cute. So 4 is on this little eyebrow here. So this can't be 8 anymore because that's going to require double 4 in box 6. So that's 5, that's 1, that's 5, that's 4 to add up to 9. So that gets me my 4s done. This 5 will probably do damage because that's got to be 5, that's got to be 1. So that's got to be 1, that's got to be 5. So 5 comes off this line here, which means we're heading up towards at least 13 with 6 and 7. So that probably makes a difference, doesn't it? So, yeah, okay. Here is something that's a little bit cute. There's definitely a 7 in this domino. And the other digit that's with the 7 is even. So this adds up to an odd number. But that means that this domino here must contain an odd number and an even number. So what is the odd number that goes on here? It can't be 3 because we can't make it add up to 13 if we put 3 on it. So it must be 9, I think, and the 9 seems to have to go there. So that's 9. This now can't be 8 because this could never get high enough. So this is 8. Oh, that, yeah, I can see why. There's another reason why that had to be 8, but it was less interesting. So now the 9 is doing some work here, which is doing some work here, which is giving me this digit, which is a 7. So we need 3s, 4s, and 6s. This can't be 3. It could be. It can't be 4. No, that's got to be 6. It's the only way. It's the only digit that works here. 3 will not get us to at least 13. 4 is ruled out by sudoku. So in fact 4 goes here, doesn't it? So that 4 and that 2 get placed. This is a 3. And now we need these to add up to 15. So we need this not to be a 6. Which means these two squares are now 1 and 6, which is, yeah, that is resolved. Good. Suddenly had a bit of a moment there where I thought I'd broken the puzzle, but that's now 5, 8. This is now 2. This is now 5. 5 comes out of all of these digits. 1 comes out of these. What else comes out? 6. So this is a 2, 3 pair. So this is a, whoopsie, this is a 1, 6 pair. And these two digits have got to be 6 and 7. And the 6 here is helpful. Right, 6, 7, 6, 1. Ah, this must be resolved. How is this resolved? Oh, 8. There we go. 8, 5, 5, 2, 2, 3, 3, 7, 1, 5, 8 here, 8 here, and 7 here. And I think that is the puzzle solved. Yeah, fabulous. That was really, really clever. It started off and I thought, oh, this is going to be quite an easy solve. But then I got really stuck, didn't I? And what I admired about this, there was quite a few things I admired about it, but what I did think was very cute was the way that these lines, especially these three, I think, I don't know if I spotted anything clever on this one, but these three lines, they all had this ability to be sort of either an extreme pair, like a 1, 2 here, or an 8, 9 here. And it kept being ruled out by the fact that you'd have 3 digits in the same column or row that had to be selected from just 2 different options. Very beautiful indeed, Meme Rista. Enjoyed it mightily. I hope you had a go, and I hope you got through it. Let me know in the comments how you got on, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.